Preparation H took care of everything.
Right,
one of the downsides is this whole business of sitting in the same chair for hours and hours. I've just actually cut a hole in my chair
to relieve the pressure and all that.
Yeah. And then if I need to, if I'm in the middle of a meeting and I don't want to get up and use the toilet, I can just.
Wow, funny. So yeah, we are finally live after all these, I'm gonna say technical issues, but good evening everyone. Thanks all for joining. We've got the Tornado Hunters here, Greg and Chris. So hi guys, thanks for joining. So again, we've got Adam, Daniel as well, our cloud guru. So I'm hoping Greg and Chris, I did message you earlier. I'm hoping you have got some content, because we are going to put Dan's recognition of clouds to the absolute test in showcasing some of your images, and to see if Dan can work out exactly what they are. And it could be quite interesting to see what's going to happen.
Actually, you know what? I'll tell you what, Sam. I'm actually looking forward to this, because maybe I'll also be able to know what the different clouds are.
Yeah, I mean, he's helped us out quite a lot, and especially myself. It's just, it's mind blowing. Honestly, you're going to be going away with your head's going to be blown. Believe me, it will be blown.
Oh, so,
I mean, how many certificates have you got now, Dan? I think you've got a few certificates now, haven't you?
Yeah. There's 4 of them. I sent you guys 3 because there was one formal one, but there's 3 piss taking ones.
Chris will have to start taking notes and teach it to the kids.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting put on the spot here, Daniel.
I know. Why? This is not fair.
You better be able to produce this.
Oh gosh.
That's class.
Spotter with clouds.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll lean on Greg. Because he has.
I got a bunch queued up here already. So whenever
I would assume he has.
I can do it.
He probably has over a million cloud pictures.
Brilliant. So guys, anyone who's watching the live stream, make sure if you have any questions that you want to ask any of us, especially for the Tornado Hunters, feel free to post them in the comment box. But guys, what's been happening lately for you guys over in Canada?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're pretty excited right now because we just launched, and last night we recorded episode number 2. But we just launched El Niños. The Tornado Hunters podcast. So if you're into podcasts, then check literally any podcast app that's out there, and you do a search for Stormfront Freaks Podcast Network, and we're part of the Stormfront Freaks Podcast Network. And so when you subscribe to Stormfront Freaks, you not only will get the Stormfront Freaks podcast every second week, but on the alternate every second week, you will get El Niños. And El Niños is a little bit of a, people say, why'd you guys call it Yeah, go ahead, Kirk, go ahead.
Sorry, mate. Are you Mexican tonight or what?
Yeah, a little bit. That's the whole idea. Listen, here's the reason we came up with El Niños. First of all, there's a bit of a play there on the sea surface temperature phenomenon of the El Nino. El Niños is the children. We're a bunch of big old, kids, right? But then the other little subtle play there is we all had our day of reckoning, our come to Jesus moment happened at El Reno, Oklahoma back in 2013. That was the day that everything changed. And so the word, the name, it all comes from that sort of combination of those factors. So El Niños, that's the name of the podcast. We have non-weather guests that come on the show, and the reason for that is we like to question them about what they think of severe weather and their experiences with severe weather, rather than just all of us weather weenies like you guys all are.
And I must say, I was up at 3 a.m. this morning. I'll say this morning because we're still on there, and it is hilarious. I mean, if you want to watch it, it's all raw, which Greg kind of puts kind of the recordings from that. So it is completely all raw footage and so on. It is so funny if you want a bit of a laugh as well, because the guy's just hilarious.
And if
I
any of
was
your
screaming.
audience, yeah, if any of your audience is into the Bachelor stuff, our guest last night was Chris Bukowski from The Bachelorette and The Bachelor Pad and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, it's a fun show. We're working out the technical kinks, which we had a few of last night. But you know what? That's been part of the fun of COVID. Honestly, is trying new things and experiencing things that honestly we would have never had a chance to do before.
Yeah, I think some of those stints were because of because of the comments. I mean, me and Tom were like laughing, and I could see Rick and who's is it? Dan? Is it or Chris? The other guy?
No, there was Nick.
I can't remember his name.
Nick,
That's it, Nick.
Yeah,
that's it, Nick. Yeah, it's so funny. So guys, you need to get onto it because it is so funny, and it's great to kind of see the Tornado Hunters do, you know, something different. But what's happening going forward with, like, because I'm getting a lot of questions coming through about Netflix and the series, and I am aware that I think last week, Apple TV are now viewing Tornado Hunters, but going forward, obviously COVID's gotten away. Is there another series that you're kind of looking in going forward?
Yeah, so like pretty much what's happening is, you know, like we kind of had something rocking and rolling ready for last year, then COVID hit. This year, you know, our borders aren't open, and we're actually doing a shutdown here in the province of Saskatchewan. So, and this year's kind of already fired up, as you guys probably all know, as far as the weather goes, you know, as far as tornado season started. So I think this year is kind of get put on the back burner again.
You should tell them about the project. You should tell them the project, though, that if we can get down there, that we would be working on.
Yeah, so we've been in contact
it's
with.
It's ridiculous, but it's fun.
Oh, go on! I can't wait to hear this.
So we've been in contact with the guys who make Google Maps, pretty much like the Street View maps. You know how you can click in, zoom in, and then you can kind of move around and see what the street view looks like. So their concept was, you know, they wanted to get a one of those cameras into a tornado and be able to have someone, you know, look around like on Google Maps, like, oh, here's what a tornado looks like from the inside. So we were going to have like 3 or 4 different teams out there, all under the same umbrella, like one team, you know, in general, but split up into like 3 or 4 different vehicles. And then the viewer, say it was on Netflix, they could pick and choose what view they would want to watch the tornado from, or from what vehicle, so to speak. Because they have a couple of those shows out there right now. Remember, you guys, when you were younger, how you could read a book and it's like, if you want to go to the right door, turn to page 73. If you want to choose the tunnel, go to page whatever, right? So it's the same kind of concept. So it was going to be fun and, you know, scientific, but we're all kind of goofy at the same time. So that was kind of the initial thinking of the show, of a newer show. So we'll see. I mean, everything's kind of put back. We're still hurting pretty bad over here as far as COVID goes.
That is pretty badass, though, to be fair. That is like taking it to the extreme. Like, it's completely something different.
Well,
and it's quite unique as well.
Yeah, these same guys actually put those cameras went up into Chris. Was it a SpaceX or was it a NASA thing?
I think it just like a big, I don't know, more than a weather balloon, because it went into space.
So you could go on your Google Street View, but instead of being on a street, you're got a camera up in space and you can look around and stuff like that. So we thought that was pretty cool. So same dudes, same idea.
Yeah, sounds good. I like it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got go on.
I was going to say, once again, thank you, lovely COVID.
Yeah.
Well, there is one other thing that happened though recently that's a big deal. Chris had a baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Nice
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And by Chris had a baby, I mean his wife had a baby. Chris just sat in the corner smoking.
Yeah. Just smoking and shaking back and forth.
So have you come up with a name then since yesterday, like since last night, or not?
Yeah. We changed it up last night. We decided to go with Maisie.
Oh, okay. You didn't decide to go with any of them on the podcast then?
No. Chelsea, I mean, she got a good laugh out of that, but no, we're sticking with Maisie, and she's doing awesome. So she's 2 weeks
name,
old.
Chris? She's got a middle name?
Chris,
June
As
after.
populous as English is a minimum.
Yeah, go ahead.
is that Maisie? Is that Chris Maisie Chittick?
It's Maisie June Chittick.
Tornado.
June we're using Chelsea's grandma's name for her middle name.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
her last name is Tornado. She's our little tornado.
oh,
Brilliant.
Right.
Thank you,
I've got a message here from Dean. It says, "Hi guys, question for the tornado hunters. They were there the day of the Nebraska Twins, which must have been both incredible and frightening. Was that the wildest day you have ever chased? And what size hail was dropped that day, as 90-mile-an-hour gusts were recorded along the FFD of that storm? Crazy."
Yeah, so for me, it was definitely in the top 10, I would say. It was a great day. For us out there chasing, when you start to chase, in the beginning of the day, you don't really set your expectations too high because you never know what's really going to happen. But it turned out to be an amazing day. It was definitely, I'd say, for me, in the top 10. And as far as the hail, I don't really remember us getting into hail. Did we, Greg?
I don't think we experienced any hail whatsoever actually on that day. And really, I just don't think we were in the position where hail would be falling at any point.
Yeah, no, we were super close to the tornadoes at all times. So we were kind of between the bear's cage, I'd say, and the actual tornado itself.
Yeah, they had some twins down in Alabama recently, didn't they? They had a couple of twin tornadoes.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny when we experienced it in 2014. I sort of figured that was a one-off kind of situation, but since then we've seen twins quite a few times not only on radar but actual physical twin tornadoes. So it was I still think a unique situation because they were both EF4s, but we saw five distinct damaging tornadoes that day, five full on, and I think 3 of them ended up being classified as EF4s, and this one, which you guys have probably seen the video from Pico's Hank, but that is the fastest tornado ever recorded ground speed wise. So that little thin guy, this is as it just roped out, but it was moving at 90 miles per hour ground speed.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is badass crazy. We've got Dave Clark as well. What's the biggest tornado you have seen? I hope next year to go and see friends at Ada, Oklahoma. Is that Ada?
Oh,
Ada?
Ada. Yeah. Actually, you know what? It's interesting. Here's a picture of a tornado from Ada, Oklahoma, right? Actually, I think I have one right here from Ada. There it is, right there. Just missed it. Shit. I don't know where it is. I'll find it and I'll show it to you. But yes, we got Chris, you want to take the biggest tornado we've ever seen question?
Yeah, so biggest all of North America was recorded at just over 5 kilometers wide, 2.6 miles wide. And it was in El Reno, Oklahoma. It was May 31st, 2013.
No.
And that's the biggest I've ever seen, as far as Greg, too. Biggest in all of North America, actually.
I think the largest in the world, Chris.
Is it? I thought
Yeah.
I've read somewhere that Bangladesh had a big one, but they couldn't actually, get the actual size of it. But who knows?
That could be the case.
Wow. Another message. Where is the favorite state to chase in, or your favorite state to chase in? I guess it kind of comes down.
Yeah, my favorite area to chase in is by far kind of the northern plains. So from Nebraska up into Canada, and then the Rockies, probably over to Minnesota kind of area, Iowa. Although I do not like chasing in Iowa.
Brilliant. Here's a good one from Denise. Have you ever seen flying animals? Cows, to be more precise. I knew this comment was going to come up.
Yeah, for me,
Go ahead,
for
Greg.
me, the craziest animal that actually, it was super sad actually, but I was in Maxville, Missouri. I can't remember the exact year. I want to say it was 2009, maybe 2010. But at Maxville, Missouri, got in a tornado, and the tornado wiped through a half a herd of mini donkeys, and one landed on our roof actually.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
no.
Yeah, super sad because they look like little mini horses, right? They're like super cute, but yeah, it was sad.
I think
No,
I actually
no
have
cows though.
I think I actually have a photo here of.
It's when you run over a skunk. That's quite bad as well.
Yeah.
I have
Wow.
seen on YouTube a chaser slap bang straight into a deer, which just writ his car off completely. And I think, wow, there wasn't nothing left of the deer. He was just splattered everywhere.
Ricky is our driver, obviously, and when he's driving, he kills so many animals just driving on the road. Like he could wipe out a half of little, I don't know what you call it, but like a little flock of ducks.
Oh yeah. Okay. So here's a story. Actually, this was on the El Reno day. We were driving east down a highway. The tornado warning is up, and we're driving along. And Chris, I think you and Peter were talking or something in the back seat, and I was looking at my at the map on the laptop, and boom, we hit something, and I said, "Oh my God, what's that?" And Ricky goes, "I killed another turtle." and and on that one trip, I think he hit like half a dozen turtles. And
Oh my God.
and then there was the time, remember, Chris, he hit those ducks, and in the rear view mirror, all the baby ducks are smushed on the road, and the mama duck is over top of them, and Ricky was in tears. Like he was really shook up by the fact that he had killed these ducks. But
Yeah, it was sad.
I've got another one from Dean. Do you think that in general, with global warming, that the frequency and intensity of tornadic systems will worsen, and will we see more long-tracked high-end tornadoes? I think that's quite a good question, to be fair.
Yeah.
can I take?
Yeah,
that one?
I think. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
All right. Here's my feeling on that. If 2020 is any indication, or basically any year between 2011 and now, I don't think global climate change has anything to do with long track severe tornadoes or anything like that. I don't believe one way or another that we know yet what the impact is going to be. So I don't think that there's any reason, for example, that we wouldn't say, you know what, maybe global climate change means that the Central Plains of the United States 50 years from now simply don't get tornadoes. Maybe that's what global climate change means. I think we jump to the conclusion that climate change means that weather is going to get worse, but I think that's a stretch. I mean, maybe in some areas it means that those catastrophic weather events don't happen anymore. Maybe for some areas it means an increase. I don't know that we've been studying it long enough to know the answer.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm with Greg. I'm with Greg on that too. But also, I just want to throw out the statement that I don't believe in global warming.
You do so. Shut up.
Just kidding.
I was going to ask you something, actually, Chris.
Yeah.
Cubby. Where did the name Cubby come from?
It's funny you asked that, Sam. Back in 1994. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it just it really did come from the golf course, and that was it. And there's really no big crazy story behind it.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's really. I mean, I was just trying to come up and be funny, but I was going down a good path yesterday on our podcast, but then Ricky started laughing, and I just lost it. Like I couldn't really hold it together.
I know. I did. We've got James' picture. If you could take your guest back in time to chase any storm, which one would you take them to and why?
Oh,
This
that's
is
a-
much more social hour to go live.
Wait, sorry. Who was the person asking that?
That was
Ja-
Prince James. That was Prince James.
James.
James Pitcher.
Okay, so just so you know, James is he's one of your compatriots over there. I can't understand a word that guy says. His accent is so thick, and he's actually come storm chasing on a tour with us, and we gave him the nickname Prince Harry. So pretty original there for sure. But if we could go back in time, Chris, and you could take anybody anywhere to any storm chase, I mean, I'm taking them back to 2016 in Dodge City.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dodge for sure. I mean, it's so photogenic and so perfect of a day.
And safe, like visual tornadoes, well behaved. What did we see? 12 tornadoes or 11 or 12 tornadoes in one day.
Yeah.
And never ever were in a dangerous position. There was no death, no destruction, but just glorious tornadoes all day. It was amazing.
Pretty much that whole stretch of days there, right? Even the day before that, had that nighttime tornado down in
Turkey,
Texas.
Yeah, Turkey, Texas. Yeah.
And then the day after that was over eastern Kansas there, where we got stuck in the mud. But that wasn't our fault.
That was Chapman, Kansas, EF4. Yeah. Yeah.
But we did we had a good day that day too. But then just getting stuck in the mud was a whole nother ball game.
Chris, you know the golden rules. Don't go on dirt track roads.
Well, our rule is if we can go on dirt roads. That's why we build the trucks the way we do. But if it has no power poles, we don't go down the dirt road. Because if the electric company can't get there, we can't get there.
You know, it's interesting, guys, about the dirt road thing. In the last few years in Tornado Alley, the real challenge has been chaser convergence, right? Like that's the thing you hear about. You hear about the traffic jams and people doing stupid things on the road, and just so many chasers out there. And really, it started for us in 2014, really. But we just sort of made a decision that if we had a choice between a dirt road and a paved road, we're going to take the dirt road. And the reason is all the looky-loos, all the dudes driving around with their mom in the driver's seat in a Buick Regal chasing storms. They can't go on the dirt roads. They have to stay on the paved roads. So by going on the dirt roads, we avoid chaser convergence, even to the point. Do you remember, Chris, when we were at Pilger for the Twins? I remember there was one point where we all looked at each other and said, where are all the chasers? Like, how is there nobody here watching this? Like, what happened to them all? And
totally.
And that's because we spent the whole day on dirt roads.
We kind of build our trucks out like kind of, if you guys ever seen those like Baja style vehicles, those Baja style trucks. That's kind of like the look and like the feel. We want to be lightweight, fast, be able to go over anything, go through anything. And that's why we kind of build them the way we do.
One of the worst chaser convergence I've had was the Mangum tornado back in
that was the
2019.
Ooh.
Adam, that was the worst by far.
That was just crazy. I mean, it was, yeah.
If the forecast that day at Mangum, if the forecast would have verified, meaning, yes, there was a tornado at Mangum, but if you remember, that was a high risk day.
Yeah.
The indications on the models that we would be looking at numerous long track, EF3, EF4, maybe EF5 tornadoes. That particular day, the forecast did not verify.
Yeah, I remember hanging about for a long time.
And there was smoke in the air, it was low visibility. But due to the chaser convergence, if it would have verified, people would have died that day for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean,
you could only go 30 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour on the highway because of all the cars.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. From as far as you could see, it was just cars and cars. It wasn't a good day.
No, I agree. That was a terrible day.
Best
one
part of that
worst-
day. Best part of that day for me was eating at Freddy's. They got really good steak burgers there. If you guys ever been there,
we do really like Freddy's, don't we?
yeah, I miss
There's a
I miss
question.
all that stuff.
There's a question. Okay, so Sam, you've been over, right, to Tornado Alley?
No, I haven't. Well, I should have been coming out with you about three years on the trot now, but unfortunately, that it hasn't happened yet, is it?
Okay,
But
so
next
Adam,
year I
you've
will
been
be.
out.
Adam's been out.
Kurt, have you
I've
been out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been out.
And Daniel,
Greg.
you've been out.
No,
Greg,
I've not
Greg,
even been chasing in the UK yet. Like,
he's just our he just stays at home and just admires clouds through the window. That's all Dan
Okay.
does.
So for Kurt and Adam, then when you're over in Tornado Alley, is there a go-to food or a go-to restaurant or a go-to thing that you're like all year you're waiting and going, man, I can't wait to get back there to do
Yes.
this? What?
Yes.
McDonald's.
Petrol stations, gas
What's
stations,
that?
Yeah.
Petrol station.
Gas station burritos.
hot dogs, and pizza.
Okay, you guys
No,
are
I tell you what,
disgusting.
I love. You either hate it or you love it, but the Big Texan is. I think it's just the atmosphere inside, and it's such a groupie. You can go there, have a few beers.
I love
after
the
a
big.
chase.
I love the Big Texan. I love it. Like I know
It's just
I know
so
a
much
lot of
character to it.
Yeah, I know a lot of like if you're from Amarillo and you said, "Hey, let's go to the Big Texan for dinner,"
You won't
your
wanna go
family
there.
would look. Your family would look at you and go, "Are you crazy? We're
Yeah.
not going to that place."
Yeah.
But no, I love it, and if we're ever in Amarillo, we always hit the Big Texan.
Yeah, I mean it's good for the guests as well. I mean to experience the atmosphere in there, and especially when they're doing the big what is it, the challenge.
Yeah, the 72-ounce steak challenge.
Yes, and you've got to eat all the potatoes, all the bread, and everything what goes with it, man. Go on.
Greg, do you happen to have that clip, Greg, of Ricky doing that handy?
I don't know. I was actually just looking for a couple of clips from there, but I don't have one on my.
Yeah,
computer,
so
sure.
kind of so we signed Ricky up to do that. Because if he eats I think what is it, 72 ounces? You said.
Yeah,
Isn't that on the
72
Netflix
ounces?
series?
Yeah, I think it was on there. I'm not
I'm
sure.
sure
though.
it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I think
it was. And he puked in the right afterwards.
I know.
So
Daniel
the funny
Gregory's
funny
watching.
thing. What's that?
Sorry, I know Daniel Gregory's watching, so he tried it once. He
Oh,
done
did he?
pretty
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
So, Chris, you got to tell them the actual behind the scenes of what happened that night.
Yeah, so kind of the funny backstory was this the actual night of Ricky, pounded it. He's literally had like 2 bites left. He just couldn't do it.
Because they give
He
you a
was-
1 hour time limit. They give you a
Yeah,
1
and he
hour
was-
time limit.
He was sweating. I mean, it was just a hot mess. And so then he went up going to the bathroom to go puke. And he was in there puking. He thought our producer / camera guy was in the bathroom with him, just outside the stall, just kind of being there for support. And and Ricky was just like, oh man, he was like, I was so close, I just couldn't do it. Waiting for Paul, was our camera guy, to respond. And there happened to be another guy in the next stall that was talking to him, and he was like, you know what, you were so close, you did such a good job. And Ricky came out thinking that he was going to see Paul, or just some random dude that he had been talking to the whole time, that it was our executive producer. So then we ended up having to go back the next day to reenact that, because they didn't go in, to film him puking.
Yeah, so we went back the next day just to
wow.
film the scene of him puking in the.
He didn't try it again then.
No, he didn't
Yeah.
do it again.
Hello, boys. Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
My mum's just text. She says, can I ask a question for you both? She will be out. She's 90 years of age next year, and she's going out storm chasing with her son, which is me, by the way. And will she be able to draw a pension out? What?
Yeah, do you know, it's funny because I was just about
seriously, mate.
I was just about to do a shout out, Kat, because
Oh, my days.
good old Patricia, Pat, he's just commented on the feed as well, saying, "Hi, I'm 90 next year, and my son has promised to take me storm chasing. Will I be safe?" So obviously, you know, will she be safe, and can she draw a pension out? Guys, it's up to you. Like,
What a question.
Yeah, I think that's a question for Kurt to answer. Like, if she was out with us, she would be having a lifetime, you know, experience and having fun. But we do push the envelope. But Kurt, are you a good driver? Are you safe? Do you get close? Do you get far? Like, what's your story?
Chris, I don't drive. I just sit down and do the me trolley bit. That's me.
Nice.
I keep people safe. You get your roads to the south, to the west, to the south to the east. That's my job. But with my mother, she's turning 90 obviously next year, in 26th of May, and that was her question. So
that's a great birthday.
That's the best question of the evening for sure.
Hang on.
It's the best
on.
question I've ever had.
One more. Are you both single?
Who's asking? Is that from your mom?
Mother.
Oh yeah, no, tell her I'm definitely available.
Yes.
If I get to come over, I'll take her out for a drink.
Hey,
Greg, she's lovely, mate. She's lovely. She's the best that you ever want to meet, I'll tell you.
I never, Greg, I know you've just...
Kurt, I'm going to be your new dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can actually vouch for this, Greg, because I tell you what, you say that you'll take her out to chase in and she'll have a great time. I'll tell you something now, mate. She will give you a great time. I mean, like, you know, I'm being serious, man. Being on the back of a motorbike, right, with a can in one hand, driving it on the other. I mean, mate, I've seen some videos, and she is a complete and utter legend. And honestly, he's got the best mum in the world, man, because she is literally like awesome. It's class.
Tell her about the motorbike. She drives a motorbike.
Yeah, she drives a motorbike. Like, yeah,
loves it.
I'll see the video. Kat and her mum were down the pub, and what is it? A tequila. She said, "Down a tequila, a Jaeger bombs." That's it. And I'm like, "What? You mental?"
So you're telling me that the secret to longevity is a Jaeger bomb?
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. Could be. Sambuca, Jaeger bomb, motorbike.
We'll be all set then, Greg. We're good to go if that's the true key to longevity.
Chris, sorry, mate. Sorry, Chris. Another question: are the roads bumpy?
Yeah, the roads in Canada are horrible, actually.
Yeah, they are.
But as soon as you cross down into the States, like, they're great roads.
Hey, it's a lot easier chasing out in the States than it is in the UK. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think to be honest with you, other than a few areas, chasing in Canada is pretty amazing for roads too, because just like parts of the plain states in the US, we have a 1 mile grid. And so if you're looking that direction and there's a storm 200 kilometers away,
no, that direction, Stu.
You just drive that direction. There's always a road.
That way. Sorry, Greg.
That's all right.
Hey, Greg, where are you from? Where was you born before?
I live in Saskatchewan now as well, but I was born just outside of Ottawa, Canada's capital, between Ottawa and Toronto. So.
Oh, it is a good question. I've got a question from Georgia. Have you ever measured your heart rate whilst chasing tornadoes? Oh. That's a good question. That.
Yeah, out of the box.
Yeah, actually, I have. I've got the Garmin watch on, and sometimes the heart rate. I think the last time I did that, Chris, was when we were at McCook. Is Chris? Oh no, Chris isn't frozen. At the McCook, Nebraska tornado, I had it on, and I think my heart rate was at 142 or something like that. So basically, it was a workout. I that's what happens with the adrenaline, though.
Yeah, my heart rate probably slows down actually.
Yeah, there is a great story. There is a great story about Chris and his heart rate, because when we were at El Reno, and by the way, if anybody goes to my YouTube channel, I just posted a few days ago a behind the scenes video. It's about 35 minutes long, so it's a little bit of a long watch, but it's behind the scenes video from inside the truck when we were at the El Reno tornado in 2013. And so you will see all the raw footage of our conversation, and you'll hear the fear in our voice and all that stuff. It was a pretty emotional event. But I'm screaming and I'm going like, there's debris. And Peter, who's our cameraman, he was going, that whole thing's coming up. And because there was a building lifting off the ground in front of us. And Chris is in the back seat going, guys, it's okay. We're okay. We're fine. We're fine. Guys, we're fine. They're like totally calm, totally even keeled. No issues.
You got to stay calm in those situations, though. I mean, you really do.
Yeah, I can't stay calm in those situations.
I think, Chris, you've always been like that, though. Like, just watching you in like certain like cameras and kind of being on shows and stuff like that, you do seem to be the chilled out one. You know, there's like a massive EF5 tornado, like 100 yards, just kicking up shit, and you're there like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I mean, you chasing flip flops. Like, how many? Like, do you still chasing flip flops these days, or is Greg kind of give you that much of a bollocking that you just wear footwear now and appropriate footwear?
I'm gonna answer that, Chris. I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna hit this one.
Yeah.
I used to give him shit because of the flip-flops, and I gave him enough shit that one day we stopped and Chris picked up a pair of shoes, and he wore those shoes for like 3 days, and then I gave him shit for wearing shoes because his feet stank so bad that he no longer was allowed to wear shoes. He could only wear flip-flops. And so, yeah. Chris, will you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, think about it, right? You're outside, you have an enclosed foot, you know, that's the sneaker gets wet, whatever you're wearing, the shoes gets wet, gets muddy. You come back inside the truck and you're in there for, you know, days and days and days on end. That smell is going to build up and it just gets horrible. So the best thing to do is flip-flops. You know, it's open feet, open air. There's no smell. You can get it wet. You come in, it's going to dry within an hour. Like, you're good.
So I get there must have been some sort of competition between you and Rick, because I'm aware that Rick kind of smells really, really bad as well.
Yeah. No, he just drinks lots of water, so he always has to stop to pee.
He sweats though. Like, do you guys know anybody who sweats just sitting there? Like, you're just sitting there doing nothing and you're sweating. Like,
yeah, me.
Really, hey? I don't sweat unless my heart rate gets up over like 120 or something like that. I don't start sweating. But like Ricky will just be sitting there driving and he's beating up and there's sweat dripping down, and it's really quite disgusting. Actually.
We always do keep the truck super cold, so I don't know how the hell he sweats inside the truck.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got another question from Izzy. Have you had any near misses? If so, what happened? That's quite a good question as well.
Near misses, like
the Stetchmans are on fire.
Like missing the storm kind of thing.
Like near misses, as in like nearly got caught out by a tornado, I would imagine.
Nothing that I can recall, really. Greg,
Except
any ideas on that?
Reno.
Oh, yeah, like that. Okay, I see what you're saying. Near miss, like coming close to death, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple of those for sure. But yeah, El Reno being probably the most recent one that I could think of. I mean, quite a hairy situation when we were in southwestern Manitoba there as well back in 2016. But no, bad. I mean, nothing too crazy, right? Like in our eyes, nothing too crazy, but probably in like the common person's eyes, they think that we're effing nuts, right? So.
I had one early on, and actually this is long before I ever met Chris or even started really storm chasing. But back in 2003, I had no idea what I was doing. I wanted to take some pictures of some lightning, and so I was out photographing a storm out in the middle of nowhere. No homes or businesses for probably 50 or 60 miles in any direction. And the storm was moving towards me. And at the time I had a minivan, and the storm was moving towards me, and the lightning was getting closer. And then the storm took on a tornado warning, and there was apparently a tornado. Now I had no idea what I was doing, and I was in the wrong part of the storm. I was actually on the northeast side of the storm, so it was moving towards me. The hail shaft, the rain, the whole thing was a monster storm. And so when the lightning started getting too close, and I realized that the storm was about to overtake me, I went to put my camera gear in the car, and the car was running, and the doors were locked, and I was locked out of my locked out of my vehicle. And so I was panicking. I was panicking. I had no idea what to do, and I was panicking. And I ended up going into the ditch and finding a rock, and I smashed the window on the passenger side just so I could get in the vehicle and drive away. So yeah. So that was my dumbass moment.
Right.
That's crazy. Ollie's got a good question. Is which do you think are more favorable for tornadoes, El Nino or La Nina?
El Nino.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn on that one. I think I would have said El Nino as well a few years ago, but there have been some good tornado years in La Nina setups as well, and also neutral setups. I mean, there've just been some good ones. Now, frankly, it's been really hard to tell because we haven't had a ton of El Nino situations in recent years, and so it's a little bit it's a little bit hard to tell. But why do you think El Nino, Chris?
Like if you
just historically,
yeah, like just going off of statistics, like 2003, 2007, 2012, 2000. Like you had an amazing 2012 up here in Canada, even too, right? Like
2012 was great for me, but
2012 going into 2013, and then we really haven't had a solid El Nino since I think it was 2013.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There hasn't been a ton to compare it to lately, but
El Ninos.
Greg, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, please.
So I've seen you call punt before, with monster-sized howl, and windscreen, and your side windows all gone through. Was that planned?
No, that wasn't planned.
Look, I've tried my hardest to get into a howl call to get my windscreen smashed, and you start off with like 2.5 inch, 3 inch howl. By the time they get to you, they decrease to about minnow size, and you go So it's so difficult getting windscreen out. You must have done it on purpose. I've seen it.
No, we didn't do it on purpose, but I will say this. So the biggest one I've ever experienced was at a place called Circle, Montana. And if you've ever been in Montana, or even just pull up on Google Maps right now, just pull up Montana and look for roads. Just try to find some roads in Montana. They don't exist. There's highways that go from one end of the state to the other. There's these large highways. Actually, they used to not have any speed limit on them because there's just nothing around. But when it comes to grids or road network, there's just nobody lives there, and there's no roads. And so when we were trying to essentially get to a road that took us south and away from a storm, you don't have a lot of options. And so what we had to do was we actually had to drive towards the storm for a short period of time to get to a road that would go south. And I told Ricky that we would have lots of time and it wouldn't be a problem. I was wrong. We got cored by grapefruit-sized hailstones, lost all of our glass. But it wasn't, believe it or not, what he thinks to this day, he thinks I did it on purpose. But honestly, it was just to get to the right road. But
Screw a quarter punch. Talk about a hook slice. That's the more fun part.
yeah, the hook
Just
slices.
your panded hook slice.
Yeah, we like hook slices. For those that if you don't know what a hook slice is, so if you're looking at the radar image and you see the classic radar signature of, there's a tornado on the ground. If we're on the north side or the west side of that hook echo on radar, a lot of times the easiest and most direct route to get to the southeast side of the storm is to slice through the hook echo on radar. It's just the easiest way to get there. But it also puts you at risk of being in contact with a tornado, and you also end up going through, in a lot of cases, the hail core. But the opposite, or not the opposite, the risk is that if you don't do the hook slice, that the storm's going to then be out of touch and your day's going to be finished. So we don't try to do it as, we try to avoid it if we can, but it's kind of fun when we have to do it. So
If you got to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah, Chris, what would you say was the what's that, Hurt?
I've lost 2 windscreens.
Doing that?
Well, cool punting, yeah. Lost 2 windscreens.
Yeah.
And a
So
car.
Chris, what would you say was the most dramatic hook slice that we ever had to do?
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
I would have to say probably, remember that day? I don't remember what day it was, but it was a day down in Texas. Remember we saw Brandon Ivy and we hook sliced through to catch up on the backside. We're coming in from the west. I can't remember what day it was.
Was that the Floydada storm?
Yes. That was that day.
I think that was the Floydada storm. Yeah.
That was our probably most recent.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a really good one, and we didn't even actually get any hail in that guy. I think
it was just
nickel-size hail or something like that. So.
It was just a big dust day too.
Yeah.
It is a good question from Tom Lynch. In 2019, we ran into thousands of frogs on I-90 in South Dakota. They were raining down on our vans. Is that something that you have ever experienced?
No.
I haven't experienced it in Tornado Alley, but I did experience it in a place called Gimli, Manitoba once. And the thing is when the road is covered with them, it's worse than ice. It's worse than mud. Literally, as you're driving along, it's just like a greasy. It's like driving on a greasy road. But yeah, I haven't experienced this storm chasing, but I have driven through that one time.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like we should. I feel like Dan's like getting a little bit tired there. Looks like he's falling asleep.
No, not at all.
So I think we should get a few photos out and.
He's itching and raring to go.
He is. I can see he's there. He's irritated.
I'm nervous. I'm gonna lose all my credentials.
Well, I'm sorry, but you've had plenty. You've had about half an hour maybe or so to kind of do a bit of research before
Daniel probably thought that we were out of the woods. He was like, "Oh, the guys forgot about it."
No, I was like, "Carry on, keep talking.
Keep the questions coming. Keep the questions coming."
So, Greg, Chris, I'd imagine it'd be Greg that's got most of the images. Have you got any good structures that we can test?
Yeah,
Dan,
so I'm gonna start off with a really easy one, Daniel. Okay, so this one should be fairly easy to identify, but everybody's favorite, clouds.
Mama. Lovely.
Now, true story about this storm, guys. This was in New Mexico, and so obviously beautiful mammatus display. And what was funny about this particular day was earlier, about an hour before this shot was taken, I was shooting a picture of the storm, and one of our tour guests was really, really upset. And she said, "Greg, don't move." And I said, "Okay, why?" She goes, "Don't move, just slowly look down." And I looked down, and on my left foot was a tarantula.
Wow.
And it was about the size of your fist, and it was crawling over my foot. And so New Mexico is kind of a fun place to be, but that was that was a fun one. Now let me find the next one here.
That was
Dan.
right outside of Roswell, right?
Yeah, it was Roswell, New Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah, the
That tarantula would have
UFO.
ended up in the Martyrs cloud, to be honest.
Aliens.
We had
Yeah, aliens.
about a week ago, was it a week and a half ago? There was an outbreak of evening mamma here in the UK, and I completely missed it. It was like there was so many different cells like producing mamma, and it was, the sun was going down, and I completely missed it. And the pictures looked amazing, and there was one
You was asleep,
one of my
weren't you?
friends made a certificate.
Was you asleep, weren't you?
I was asleep. I was hungover, mate. Like, always the best things happen when I'm asleep hungover. It's shame.
Come on, best thing a storm chaser do is sleep. What do? We drive for about 8-9 hours a day, get onto a storm for 3 hours, and then sleep again.
Yeah.
That's
That's when we actually do it. That's when we actually do our best storm chasing, is when we're hungover.
Oh.
All right, this one's from Nebraska, Daniel.
Lovely. Yeah, Arcus, striated Arcus type thing.
Yeah, very good. So this was we called it a marching shelf cloud. Never produced a tornado. Never had any severe warning on the storm. Just a beautiful structure to it. These I think, are the most impressive storms to look at. Not necessarily the most dangerous, but fun to look at. But it literally just marched straight northeast, went for probably 100 miles, kept moving before it dissipated. No tornado warnings, no severe warnings, no hail, nothing.
That's
just
crazy. So,
Yeah.
is there any correlation between, say, like the more sort of like extreme or bigger an Arcus? Like, you can get the downdrafts at the front where the Arcus is. Like, is there any correlation between that, or can you get small Arcus and strong downdrafts? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not the right person to ask that question. I mean, just from a science standpoint, I don't really know what the difference is, but I can say that when the forecast is such that we know that there's not going to be tornadoes, we just don't have the right wind profile, we just don't have the right moisture gradients. Those are some of the ones where, and I don't know why this happens, but it tends to produce a lot of great lightning, and you tend to get a lot of these really interesting structures in, like you said, in the Arcus cloud. But what makes one stand out more than the other? I mean, I'm assuming it has something to do with wind profiles at different elevations, but honestly, you probably know more about that than I do, Dan.
I can kind of answer that question from a science standpoint.
Oh my God.
Go on.
No, what it is really is the storm itself is pretty much, it's done, right? So all that cold air is just rushing down towards the Earth's surface, which then creates the lightning, because you have the up and down electrons rolling past themselves, and also creates that shelf cloud.
He's basically just repeating words that he read in an article one time. That's all he's doing right now. And what order they're being repeated in doesn't really matter.
The best days chasing, though, when you get just structure days. Sometimes when you set out for a chase, it's
I think
a nice structure day, or there's going to be tornadoes. So.
I would love that. Like, good structures and lots of lightning.
Sorry, Daniel. What was that, Daniel?
I would love that. Like, just amazing structures and lots of lightning. I think that for me would do it.
Well, you know what? It's funny because, like, Chris and I, our goal whenever we're out chasing, in particular on tornado days. I think we would both agree, Chris, that our only real goal is to get as close to a tornado as we can. Like that's always our stated goal.
Yeah, copy
Now,
that.
Now,
Definitely.
when tornadoes don't happen, which I'm going to say is probably 19 times out of 20, when the tornado doesn't happen, we still are in that position that if it did happen, we would be there, right? But the problem with that is that we often then don't get to see the big picture from 20 miles away, which is this beautiful structure. And so I have to be honest, the one thing in my whole portfolio of images that I'm probably that I have the least of is beautiful structure storms, because we're often sacrificing that view to be able to be in the right spot for the tornado. And so I have what I feel I have is better pictures of updrafts and mesocyclones and tornadoes and wall clouds. I have much more of those in my collection than I do these beautiful like imperial storms. Even the imperial storm, we were just too close to it. My shots, I'm all, my view is all from down here underneath the storm, as opposed, and like I saw some of those pictures from Imperial, Nebraska in 2019, and I
Beautiful.
I was just sick to my stomach because all of my shots are frankly quite lame compared to the people that were shooting from 30 miles away. From 30 miles away, what they saw was National Geographic style, perfect storm structure. And what I saw was kind of, run of the mill blue and gray clouds that, looked interesting, but I have a million pictures like that. I don't have a million structure shots of that imperial type storm.
Can I ask a question now?
Yeah.
So, obviously, mid-states America, dew points 50 to 55, up and above dew points for a good thunderstorm. So, why does Colorado have to have low dew points?
I think it has to do with the elevation.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, elevation is the big thing. The other thing is that the big thing is the mixing, Kurt. So, for example, if you go into the Southeast United States, down into Dixie Alley, you need to have those high dew points just to be able to get enough mixing with the colder, drier air at elevation. But what happens in the upslope regions of the plains, the high plains in New Mexico, Texas Panhandle, Western Kansas, Wyoming, Colorado, is that all that warm, moist air that's at the surface, it doesn't have to be all that moist, because what happens is as it's getting pushed up the plains, it actually is literally physically moving farther at a higher elevation and is able to mix with that colder air, which is coming off the Rockies. And so you just end up being able to see, like, even if you think about Ray, Colorado, Simla, Colorado, the Chugwater, Wyoming tornadoes, they're not particularly devastating tornadoes, right? Like they're relatively weak tornadoes, but they're just damn nice to look at.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing. When you're further south and there's a lot more moisture, it becomes rain wrapped, and there's a lot of, the tornadoes become really quite messy. But as you go further north, you get more structure and they're more isolated storms.
Yeah, like I think the classic example of the northern storms actually happened last year in 2020. Maybe the most beautiful tornado ever recorded, ever witnessed, and no storm chasers were there to see it, except for, of course, Scott Peak from the Base Hunters. He got maybe the greatest tornado photo video of all time. Like
there's the Twister,
Minnesota.
Twister sisters were on it too. They're from Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there was a handful, but for the most part, nobody was there. I mean, was it in August or was it end of July or something?
Yeah, end of July, I want to say.
I think it was end of July, yeah. But I mean, it was maybe one of the most beautiful tornadoes ever because, again, Adam, like you said, no rain. It was like literally blue sky, and it was literally perfect to look at. And
I mean, that's definitely my favorite kind of chases, when you've got your individual isolated cells. Sometimes, well, I mean, as you can, the last couple of events over last week or so, you know, they've just become. I watched Reed Timmer's stream. It's just a mess. Do you know what I mean? I like my isolated storms, good structure.
Adam, don't mention Reed Timmer.
But I watch him.
Oh, that's fine. We like weed trimmer. That's fine.
Don't mention Reed Timmer.
You know what, Adam? Like the thing about the Southeast is, and Chris will attest to this because Chris has actually witnessed EF5 tornadoes in Alabama. The visual presentation is not all that exciting in terms of like nobody's got a picture of the Alabama tornadoes on their wall, for example. Okay.
Yeah.
But the adrenaline, the unknown, the fear factor, and then frankly the stories that come out of it. I mean, that's where, if you look at all the deaths in the United States when it comes to tornadoes, like the vast majority are Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, you know, and it's because of that visibility in it. And so I'm with you, man. I don't want to chase down there. Chris loves it though.
Trees, buildings, you name it. Dixie Alley's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do like chasing down in Dixie Alley.
But that's
I don't know why. It's such a yeah, frog legs. No, but it's just such an accomplishment too, right? To bag a tornado in the Southeast there. Like, number one, they're moving super quick. You know, they could be upwards of like 65 up to like 80 mile per hour traveling storms. And you got one shot, you know, you could never really be far enough east, and you just got to let that beast come right at you to get that shot and then get the hell out of there, really.
Yeah, it's not. And when you're in the Southeast, it's not storm chasing. If you try to chase a storm in the Southeast, it will never happen. You are done.
It's about positioning.
It's about positioning. Yeah, you got to just, you know, you got to start as far, like Chris said, as far east as you can get. You got to, you know, position and wait for it, and just hope that when it comes to where you are, that there's a tornado on the ground. You know, that it's not the 15-minute span where the tornado's lifted off for that period of time. But
whilst we're on that subject as well, go on, Kat. I know you want to speak.
Sorry.
That's right. Go on.
So, Greg, those dew points in Dixie Alley are mental, aren't they? Fucking mental.
Yeah, I mean, they were. I think in some of those storms last week or 2 weeks ago, I think the some of the parameters were like temperatures 74, dew points 72 or 73.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just all that is just like, you just know that it's going to be solid rain. Like, even when the radar shows a fairly independent storm, you can guarantee that what you're looking at is just a big wall of rain. Like, the only way to get a visual on that storm is to literally be within 100 or 200 yards away from it.
I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. Definitely.
This brings me nicely onto another question from Dean. What are your thoughts on this year so far regarding the amount of tornadoes already reported so far and what's to come?
Yeah, for me, I'll answer this question first because unfortunately I do have to jump off here and do the parenting thing. But so for me, like, I think this year, you know, so far it's been a fantastic year as far as tornadoes go. You know, starting out in the Texas Panhandle a couple of weeks ago, then everything kind of transitioning to the kind of the southeast part of the United States. But they've been, you know, fast moving storms. A couple of good pictures I've seen here and there, some more drone shots more than anything kind of in that southeast part of the United States. And it's been an active year. So, you know, hopefully that can kind of continue. Hopefully our borders are open. Hopefully we'll be able to get down there and do some chasing ourselves. But I mean, really, who the hell knows what that's going to look like. But if that can continue and we can keep that solid moisture coming up off the Gulf and get that thing up here in Canada, I think Canada is going to light up this year.
I'm a bit jealous, to be honest.
I'll say.
I personally, you know, every year at this time of year, we kind of, I don't know what you call them in the UK, but we call them boners. But
I don't
we're
I don't
always-
get what are you talking about? I don't understand.
wood.
Greg, put it away, mate. Put it away.
Come on. 9 months ago, mate. What happened about 9 months ago?
Sorry, Greg, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, you know, we always get excited this time of year, and you know, every, you know, I listen, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to chase, and I'm still looking at every model run that comes out, just looking for that like little hint of, oh man, look at this big system coming through. But history says that this year is going to be a big year, and the reason for that is last year sucked. And frankly, you know, 2019 was amazing. Like 2019 was the year that people dream about in storm chasing. And last year sucked. So that means this year's going to be great. And also there are some parallels, not a lot, but some parallels to 2011. However, the last couple weeks have kind of, you know, strayed away from that a little bit. I don't know. Who knows, man? I hope it's a good year, but don't know.
Yeah, like what I'm really hoping for is like, say into June, like maybe the borders might open. We can chase that North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming area into Canada. And that's, even though it's going to be a small chase season for us, for Greg and I, really, like, I just need to see a couple of really good looking storms, have some good memories, and then I'll be satisfied really until next
I
year.
think you've just got to appreciate what's going on and just get out when you can, really.
Yeah, exactly. So
Ask you a question.
yeah.
So don't take offence, but when you was with tornado chasers, Reed Timmer, okay, did you argue in the documentaries? Is that for real? Was that just made up for the documentaries?
No, I mean, I didn't really argue with Reed that much. Joel and Reed kind of butted heads a lot, as far as Joel's kind of more of an old school, kind of led, you know, he'd be focused on like the 500 millibar, where Reed's obsessed with like the 800 millibar, you know, wind shear, all that stuff. And they kind of butted heads a lot. So I was kind of like the, you know, like how Sam said earlier, I'm the kind of the glue that holds everyone together, right? The chill, kind of calming personality, and just kind of hold everyone together. But they butted heads for sure. But also that makes you a stronger team, right? You got to voice your opinion, and you got to put yourself out there. So that does make you a stronger team as well.
Hey, Chris, would you agree that since we stopped filming Tornado Hunters, would you agree that you and I have become much better friends?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we were always good friends before, but we definitely butted heads a little bit during that. And
yeah,
you and
we
Ricky
definitely did. Yeah, you know, Ricky and I for sure did. I guess I'm the common denominator.
But overall, I mean, it's such a great experience, you know, and those are memories you're going to have for a lifetime as well, right?
For sure.
So hey, on that note, guys, I do have to let you go. My wife is looking after all 3 kids. I got to get out there and save her. But you guys take care. Thank you so much, you guys, for having me on, and let's do it again.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah,
Hey,
cheers,
Chris.
Chris. Thank you very much for joining, mate. And yeah, sure, we'll do it again. I'll ping you a message, and we'll go from there, dude. No problem.
Awesome. Take it easy, guys.
Cheers,
Cheers,
mate.
Chris.
Thanks,
Take
man.
care, buddy.
Bye, Chris.
Right on. And guys, I'm going to give you a few more minutes too. I have exactly 10 more minutes before I got to run too. So if you
Yeah,
got-
cool. I'm just gonna have a quick look at the messages, just to make sure there isn't any, or if there's any.
Adam,
we
Adam, that
missed.
picture above your head, where's that picture from, Adam?
Oh, wow. That was back in 2018, Eastern Oklahoma. God,
2018
there was actually, before this shot was taken, there was a couple of wildfires. We was watching a storm and some lightning south, some wildfires.
Oh, I know where that was.
And we
That
got in
was-
front of this
Was that up
storm.
by Miami? Was that right up
Oh.
by Miami, Oklahoma, on the way to?
I can
Joplin?
tell you because I've got my chase notes. Give me a second because I want it. Hang on.
I think I know where that is. I think that was from the Miami storm.
Whilst he's looking, Greg, have you
Yeah.
got any more photos for Dan?
Oh yeah,
he
let's
seems
find-
to
I
be
can-
falling asleep there again. You know, just want to wake him up a little bit.
All right, let's see if he recognizes. Let's see if he recognizes this one. Hold on a second.
Come on, you must have a really decent, loads of different structures in there.
All right.
We
so
really
let's-
need to test him here.
Let's see if he recognizes this one. Here we go.
Your ex-wife?
All right, Dan, what's this one?
Oh,
Hang on. Is this
Oh.
a land spout?
It is a land spout. Very good. Very good. And here's what's interesting about
With
this
the
land
lightning as
spout.
well.
Yeah, here's what's interesting about this land spout. And obviously you can't see it in a single frame like this, but this is an anticyclonic land spout.
Oh wow.
So this was in the high plains right on the Colorado-Nebraska border. Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas. It was up near Colby, Kansas. So it was right in that sort of border region between the three. And the actual tornado warning and the actual updraft mesocyclone area is actually off camera to the right over here.
So where
And
is this
so-
forming then on this storm? Like,
This is actually on the sort of outer edge of the mesocyclone, and we would refer to it as a satellite, land spout satellite, but it's actually spinning. It's actually spinning anticyclonic, and
Oh, wow.
just happened to capture the lightning strike going through it at the same time. So
incredible.
thrill of a lifetime for me. One of my all-time favorite photos. Getting the lightning weaving through the dust formation that's in the cloud. So yeah, one of my all-time favorites. So and let's see if you can identify. Let's see if you can identify this one. So this is kind of a fun one as well.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Are these like multiple like vortices or something?
Yeah, correct. So this is actually the parent circulation here. The parent tornado is actually goes from off camera to the left to just to the right side, where you can see the last little bits of formation on the right hand side. So the whole thing's rotating. The parent circulation is over 1 kilometer wide. But within that parent circulation, a number of suction vortices, individual vortices, actually spin-ups within that parent circulation were produced. So yeah, it was.
They can be like really fast, can't they? Like spinning.
Yeah, in fact, way faster
Yeah.
wind speeds than
Main thing.
the parent circulation. So in fact, all the damage in these types of tornadoes, all the damage happens from those smaller vortices because the localized wind speeds, the localized updrafts are significantly stronger than, like I said, the parent circulation. So,
amazing.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got Denise and Christopher as well. Who's put an amazing photo and wow. So yeah, no, there is some good images there. Got one last one, Greg.
yeah, let's see.
Spice
here.
it
Let
up
me
a little bit. Let's
All right.
like
All right. Let me see what I got here. Okay, so this one has some lightning associated with it, but let's ignore the lightning and just see if we can get Daniel to identify the cloud structure. And the cloud structure, mainly, I'm looking over here on the right-hand side, Daniel. Any?
Oh, okay. So is this part of the Arcus? Is this like a whale's mouth?
Yes, it is. Well, not really. No.
No, okay, it's probably
No.
the wrong bit of
I can see the clear stop.
Let me show you another picture. Same.
It looks like there's a bit of lacunosis in there as well, like the holes.
What'd you call it?
Lacunosis, like with the
My
whole
God.
bit with the holes. It
Sounds
looks
like a disease.
Oh, just come down with the lacunosis.
Let me let me find a better version of this here.
Go on, Kat.
What? I'm saying goodbye, boys. I'm going to stairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you off now?
Dots. Greg.
Right, mate.
Take
Greg.
care.
Easy, mate.
Greg.
Later, mate.
Yes, sir.
Accept my friend request.
Okay, I will for sure.
Peace. Bye. Take care, mate. Bye, boys.
See you later,
Take care,
Kat.
guys.
Bye, mate. Bye, 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 bye.
All right, let me. Here's a better shot of it.
Nice.
Here's a better shot of it, Daniel. Let me just share my screen here again. So I'm going to zoom in on this so that you can actually get a chance to.
Oh wow.
To see that a little bit. You can see
Okay,
that.
that's crazy. Yeah, like it looks like say, oh, I wish I could like show you which part with like my finger. Like it looks like lacunosis. You see where the holes are? Like there's like
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Up
So
here.
that's like lacunosis.
What's your favorite?
Yes. This was identified as being aspiratus.
Yeah, asparagus. I was thinking as well with the waviness, and it looks like there's lacunosis inside it as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible structure, and few versions of that same thing during the same day. So this, when I see this, and I have no scientific basis, Daniel, for believing this to be true, other than just personal experience, but it's a pretty good indicator for me that our tornado risk is over.
Oh, really?
And yeah, in general, it sort of feels that way.
Outflowy and lots of there's no wrapping up.
Like
It's just
even though this storm's moving towards me, the wind's hitting me in the face here, as opposed to being at my back. If the wind was at my back here, I'd be, definitely still thinking tornado. But for example, 5-10 minutes even before this photo was taken, the wind was at my back, and I didn't see that beautiful undulatus on the bottom side. So I'm not sure if there's a scientific basis for that feeling, but at this stage, I'm not worried about a tornado.
I think with the asparagus, there's not really like a lot known about it still.
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
And I'm not even sure why. Like, I don't know why there haven't been like more of a concerted effort with like researchers to do more with it, because I mean they were named like what, like it was quite a while ago, but it got into like officially got into the International Cloud Atlas in 2017 when they did their update, but like
it's very recent
working title like ages ago, and I don't know why there's not been more research. I mean, maybe because people have only really knew about it for the past 10 years or something. I don't know, like 2009 or something, I think was around the time it also started, like, or 2008.
Yeah, my earliest pictures of it actually happened, believe it or not, in 2009.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was actually I was actually just kind of looking for it to see if I could find any of them, but I think I've got them on another drive. But let me just see here. Let me check one more spot here.
Adam, did you find out the?
Yes, mate. So that was on the 30th of May 2018, and it was near between Boise City and Guyman.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think it was.
Well,
it was the same storm system, but
there was a crazy picture there, like D80000474. What's that all about?
Oh, this one here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is so as you can see here, stars in the sky, and
long exposure.
Yeah. So this is actually a 3-minute exposure.
Wow.
And so you can see a number of different lightning strikes across the bottom of the screen as the storm is dying and moving away from me. Full moon out, and so what's lighting the foreground and lighting the cloud deck is the full moon, and obviously stars in the sky there as well. So
I love them photos. They give it nice motion to the clouds. Nice.
Yeah, it was one of my favorites. Let's see, what else do I have here? This one was from. This is a composite image of 14 different shots from Alliance, Nebraska, back in 2017.
You used to love doing your multiple shots and time lapse, didn't you? Do you still do
Yeah,
much
no,
of that?
I still do. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, guys, that honestly, tornadoes are just extremely rare. Okay,
Difficult to photograph as well, if you know, unless you're in the right position. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you know, I would love it if every storm that we chased lived up to the hype and produced the tornadoes, but
Wow, look at that one there.
The vast majority don't, right? So so yeah, this is going 10 years ago. Wow, 10 years ago, hard to believe. This was 2011, and that was a lightning strike that happened about probably about 150 yards away, 200 yards away, way too close. But yeah.
Because you're scared, you have a fear of lightning, don't you, Greg?
It's the only thing I'm afraid of when I'm storm chasing. You
The
know, the tornado thing, we have radar. They develop slowly. You can see where they're coming. You have a decent road network. You know, you can generally avoid them, but lightning, you just don't know where it is. This is a cool shot because you actually have an upward streamer in the shot as well.
Oh my God! Wow.
So
that's amazing. That's probably the best picture of a streamer I've seen.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Cool.
Have you got any photos of sprites, Greg?
You know what? I actually caught my first sprites, and here's a cool little thing, guys. I have not got verification on this yet, but I believe, and I've got a couple people researching it right now, but I believe these were the most northerly sprites ever recorded.
Oh, nice.
And I got a picture of these sprites with Aurora Borealis in the photos as well. And so this happened in July, and I just got to try to find it here, pull it up. But this happened
Aurora in July. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, no, we get Aurora all year round. The problem is that in July we only get about 2 hours of dark enough skies to see it. But
do you get like noctilucent clouds there as well?
Oh yeah, we get throughout the summer, noctilucent clouds happen.
I'm so excited for noctilucent cloud season.
Yeah. So can you guys see that shot?
Oh wow!
Yeah, to the right.
That's nuts.
So you got the sprites up here in the upper right corner.
Wow.
And then the northern lights on the horizon. So this is actually the thunderstorm. And so the sprites happen above the thunderstorm.
The sprites are amazing as well, because they're like
I'm about 150 to 200 miles away from the storm, believe it or not. So very, very long distance away. But the sprites happen at about 70 to 80 kilometers into the atmosphere from the surface. So you have to be a fair distance away just to be able to capture them. So
that's amazing.
Incredible. That's incredible. Like.
Yeah. Now I edited this. This is the unedited version, but I got rid of the power lines. That was terrible. It was in the middle of the night, and I couldn't actually physically. Oh, here's the edited version. I got rid of those power lines because I physically couldn't see them with my eyeballs, so I didn't know they were in the shot. So there's the edited version.
Yeah, that's amazing. Fair play.
I love how you can see the sprites in a sort of circular.
Yeah, they literally take on that circle shape, and that's like basically one of the hallmarks of the sprites, because they are an electrical discharge in the sort of form or fashion of lightning, and it's very cool. But let me show you my favorite photo of the year, guys. I just took this a few weeks ago, and this is where I'm going to leave you guys tonight. But
because you run your own photography stuff as well, so just while you show this photo, just talk to everyone about your photography side and where they can go to check out all the images, and if they want to learn about their photography aspect and kind of increase that, where can everyone go for that?
Yeah, so I have a website called Camera Easy, and the URL is cameraeasy.ca. And I actually teach lessons online. So there's a component of Camera Easy where you can just go online and you can sort of learn to use your mirrorless or your DSLR camera. But then there's actually a pro subscription where we actually do live lessons, and I use a format exactly like what we're doing here. And people tune in from all over the world and can ask, like, literally the exact same interaction we're doing now, but they can have their camera in their hand, and we'll go through and we'll talk about different subjects, and whether it's aurora or storms or portraits or landscape photography, whatever you want, and basically it's an online learning tool. So
There you
Camera
go.
Easy, cameraeasy.ca. But here's the highlight, and I just shot this. Well, it's almost a month ago now, March 13th. So this is a phenomenon called.
This is crazy.
This is a phenomenon called Steve.
Steve, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a phenomenon called Steve. So this looks like aurora, but it's actually not aurora. It's superheated plasma.
Oh my God.
In the atmosphere, and it's often associated with aurora, but it can happen independently. But what you're actually seeing here is a phenomenon, and the reason it's called Steve is there was two Canadian photographers, actually, one from Saskatchewan, one from Alberta, who discovered the phenomenon and researched it with NASA. And a couple of years ago, we're actually able to name the phenomenon, and it stands for Steve. Oh, I'm going to mess this up again now. Strong thermal something. Velocity enhancement. I can't remember the first E, but anyway, strong emission. Yeah, strong thermal emission velocity enhancement. But these and I'm going to show you a time lapse video. So here's another version of Steve right there, which you can see. But I actually did create a time lapse video.
In that picture, there's all of these are Steve, like all of.
Yes,
them.
these are all.
Incredible.
Well, these ones here, this is actually facing north. These are northern lights. These are aurora.
In that other picture, like all of these individual bits, were they all like Steve? Can you get like numerous ones in the sky?
Yeah, like they're all braiding together. When you see the video, Daniel, what you'll see is that the elements of Steve are actually braiding together as if you were braiding hair.
Oh my God.
It often gets referred to, and again, if you look at a single image, it often gets referred to as a picket fence.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I've seen a video of this before, and it was very recent. I saw this like crazy. Like, you can see the white underneath going. Whoa.
Yeah, it's great. So let me just let me see if I can pull it up here for you. I just gotta find it here. Here we go. Here's my Steve video. Just give me 2 seconds here, guys. Sorry, this is not very entertaining when it's taken forever, but
well, all the comments are coming through saying how rare, like wow. So yeah, there's certainly people taking an interest to it for sure.
Okay, so let me throw this over here, and you guys can see that now, that start screen. Okay, so this is only 9 seconds long. It's approximately 200. Well, not approximately. It's exactly 280 photos. And time lapse together at 30 frames per second, it ends up being a 9-second video. So here's how it goes.
Oh wow!
Oh my God! Oh my days! It's just
that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Isn't that wild? Wow. I'll play it one more time, so you can really see the motion when you put it into time lapse. You can really get a sense of what it looks like. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, yeah, okay, that's your camera, but what does it look like in real life? And I can tell you that this was a moonless night, so there's no moon out. As you can see, one of the things we're blessed with here in Saskatchewan is very little light pollution. So this is actually facing southwest. So we think of the northern lights and
Oh,
aurora obviously
wow.
facing north, but Steve doesn't present itself in the north sky generally. It presents itself east and west, and so this shot is facing southwest. Although this is a little bit brighter than what you see with your eyeballs because I've edited the image for posting, but I mean the reason I'm taking the picture is I could physically see it with my naked eye. So yeah, it's beautiful.
That is
It's
crazy.
but extremely rare. So that was one of the
do you
highlights.
see it? Do you see it move like quite quickly in real time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like
amazing.
nonstop, like second by second. It's
Wow.
changing. It's
Oh,
changing.
nature's so cool.
Yeah. So we've the sun has been in a very active state for the last 3 or 4 months, and so we've had numerous opportunities to photograph these phenomenon. So yeah, I'm super fortunate in that sense. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that with us, Greg.
That
And
was
Impressive.
yeah, appreciate your time as well coming on to speak.
Yeah,
to
my pleasure. Yeah, again with that, guys, I'm gonna have to take off, but if you ever want to do it again, happy to
let's do
anytime.
this again.
Yeah, I think we're going to call it a day. So thank you everyone else for joining. It's been great to have you all on board. And again, thanks to Greg and Chris for joining. We'll be back next week as well. We're hoping to get Randy Dean hit from the Tornado Outlaws as well. So stay tuned for that. And posts will be updated a little later on, maybe over the weekend, in details on that as well. But yeah, big thanks to Greg, and we will catch you all later. Thanks again to you all.
Cheers, Greg.